Craig Cameron, Clubs Red, delighted to be joined by Stephen Newns Jr. Stephen, how are you getting on? Okay.
Doing fine, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Delighted to finally catch up with you. I know we've been
Yep.
chatting over the last couple of months, and congratulations again on getting your masters completed as well. You passed that
Oh,
recently.
thanks very much. I'm delighted with that. It's that's all over and done with now. But I'll graduate in November, and aye, that's it. Finished being a student, and I can focus more on boxing now.
Brilliant. And for people that don't know, Stephen, he's a four-time amateur Scottish champion, and you were also a double Commonwealth athlete as well. And the reason we're talking today is because you made the decision to go professional. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. That's right. Aye, and I'll debut 2 weeks tomorrow in Glasgow in the Rads and Blue in the St Andrews Sporting Club event.
Brilliant, fantastic. And Stephen, what has been the main catalyst for making that decision? I suppose from going from a top Scottish amateur to the pro game. What's the main reason that you're doing that?
Well, as you say, like, obviously I've competed in 2 Commonwealth Games now. I've done 2 cycles over the past 8 years. I'm now 25 years old. Had over 100 amateur bouts. I've been to all the majors, just every competition in Europe. Took part in lots. I mean, I've just missed out on medals in some competitions. However, I've been there and thereabouts, and with the best guys in the world. And also as well, I was coming to the end of my time of being a student. So I thought I had an opportunity there to, you know, uh, to turn professional. Spoke with a couple of different people, and I've made the choice now. Yeah, and I'm delighted to get started.
Brilliant. And so, seeing for people that have followed Stephen's career, and I follow you on social media, we have seen you out in, America,
Mhm.
training and sparring, and not just recently, but in the past as well. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like the Team Scotland, the Brown, like the wild card, for example, which is
That's right. Yeah.
against. Like, could you tell maybe people about maybe some of your experiences out there? Have you got any funny sparring stories or people you've bumped
Uh,
into, any famous people?
Actually, yeah. So going over to Los Angeles last year, we went there. Boxing Scotland took us there for a week, and then after that we spent a further 5 days training in New York, slightly different from each other. And obviously this year I was in Vegas as well. Got the opportunity to kind of go there myself and meet new people, training the top ranked gym. Got to go and visit the Mayweather's gym, and yeah, I'd say sparring in the wild card. That it's a bit different than what it's like in Scotland. Like the volume of quality boxers there that outnumbers us. This would have been like higher population and more interesting stuff. And so there's about a team of like 12 of us. We turned up to the gym, and one by one there was like sparring partners coming in for each of us. It wasn't even arranged. It's like, oh, that one suits him. That they're the same weight. Put them in, and we all got competitive sparring. Like, and it was, you know, all at once, all on the same sort of day in the same session. Which was good, valuable, and like totally different styles as well over there. Like them being mostly professionals, us still being elite amateurs at the time as well. Some of us have turned pro now, and I remember going to New York, and it was a bit, we're in one of these gyms, and the sparring's getting quite heated. They don't mind shouting at the side, and it gets quite rowdy to be honest. And I was in with this guy, probably about a good few kilos heavier than me anyway, and he was really trying to put it on me. And it was like wild. The noise was incredible when I was in sparring. We were both going for it, and I was exhausted. But then I kind of got into a bit of a clinch with him, and I kind of fell over the top of him, and he kind of stood over me like that, and the adrenaline just like went sky high, and I just went to town with him. But no, it was good. It was good that kind of like, getting into a fight rather than just like a boxing match like it is back home. We've got like we're a bit more focused on like respect and sparring, and whereas there it was a bit, getting heated. So to kind of get used to that in case that does happen in fights, it's valuable anyway. So, but no, I enjoyed it. Good experience over there that year, and obviously I was in Vegas this year. Got to meet the likes of David Hay, Chris Eubanks Jr., Wayne McCulloch as well. Spent a lot of time with him. He's a really nice man. Uh, yeah, lots of superstars over there. It's busy with boxing, and I'm hopefully go back there soon.
Great. And do you think that's something that other Scottish boxers could benefit from? Because I mean, the experience getting out there, I'd imagine it might be quite daunting to start with, but you spoke about the era maybe getting the better of someone that's trying to get you out of there in a spar, and you get the adrenaline and the confidence for that. So do you think that's something you would encourage maybe other Scottish fighters to do? We've seen, I know Fraser Wilkinson was out with Jay recently as well after yourself. Do you think that's something that would benefit Scottish fighters greatly?
Absolutely. I mean, being put out your comfort zone for a start, that is where the development happens in all areas of life, and boxing especially. Over there, it's different gyms, like the climate as well, the time zones and stuff, and the different styles of opponents as well. If the more you expose yourself to like actually being involved and around that, the quicker you can adapt if it comes up again. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There is people who are comfortable and happy enough remaining where they are. However, I see an opportunity for myself to go there. Thought, listen, I'm going to grab this with both hands. I'm still young enough. I've got a chance here. Why not? Went over there myself, and it kind of didn't hit me until like the day before I was leaving. I'm like, I'm actually going here. Like, I'm not going with a team. I'm used to with boxing Scotland, and I'm going over to meet these new people, and like my gut feeling was telling me this is the right thing to do. Just go and see what it's like, and I believe it's paid off. I had a great time out there. I got really well looked after, and adapting to the different styles over there. How they box is a bit different as well. Obviously professionals at more rounds, different pace, different types of scoring shots. I'm not like trying to win every single round like from the get go. They can take their time and kind of it's a bit more calculated to actually work their opponents out. So, but yeah, being young and having opportunities there, definitely I would recommend to any young boxer or athlete who works hard and that has love for the sport, definitely take the opportunities, because you can only do it when you're young and fit and healthy enough to do it.
Yeah, and is there any one experience or maybe some advice from, maybe a superstar, you talk about like your David Hay, Chris Eubank, Wayne McCullough, everyone says guy as well and champion. Is there anything that stands out from you in terms of like, wow, I can't believe that just happened?
A piece of advice, maybe. So it was the first time I came into the top rank gym. One of the first guys I actually seen, and he's quite big anyway, was David Hay. He was in training himself. He was actually in pretty good shape, like for someone who's been out the ring for a while. And but he did take the time to kind of speak to me once I'd done my sparring as well, because I was sparring an undefeated pro who was signed with Top Rank at the time. He was like 6-0, 6 knockouts, guy from Detroit. So he was like an up and coming prospect, same weight as me. So we done sparring, done 6 rounds, went well. And he was just talking to me about like how you can still see an amateur who has still got to make that transition into being a professional. Like as I mentioned earlier, like you don't have to go and win every single second of the round from the beginning, because like in amateurs, three rounds, if you lose the first round, you're chasing the next two. That's just the way it goes. Whereas in pros, you've got 6, 8 rounds, 10 rounds. You can afford to sort of slow down, take your time, and look for mistakes. And maybe if you do give 1 or 2 rounds away, you're not like you're not chasing too much. There's no point in pushing the panic button. You can take your time and work them out. So he said sometimes he would go a full round, whether it's in sparring or a fight, and he would like maybe not even throw a punch for the first 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I mean, people can say obviously like it David Day, but he was successful. He was both successful as an amateur and a pro. But I think that is definitely a guy who's got valuable advice for the likes of myself, still young and still gain a lot of experience. But yeah, so I started to do a bit more of that pacing and looking for openings, and I was able to relax into it a wee bit more, and I've been carrying that out. Even when I've came back home and I've been down south training, yeah, that's something that does stand out for me from the beginning.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, you do see some amateurs that kind of maybe struggle with changing to the kind of pro style, and I think in a lot of big fights, sometimes you see in the first round it's a kind of feeling out process. There's not a lot of punches thrown in the first round, like you kind of they're maybe looking for stuff that they can take advantage of potentially in the future rounds. So, what I was going to touch on next was So in regards to you, you've came back and now you're actually down and you're training in Essex just now. So what's the reason that you're training down there, and who's going to be your kind of training team in your corner when we see you on the 26th October?
Aye, so we're looking to hopefully get back to the US sooner than how it's took. However, there's a lot of tape with that. There's a few barriers that we need to cross, and for me to get out there a bit sooner, then the decision was to stay in the UK and have a couple of fights first before I decide. And if I decide to, excuse me, going back to the US maybe springtime onwards from next year. So one of my managers, Jamie Robertson, he is his contact Will Jones down in like the Romford area, London, Essex. Spoke to him, had a look at his stable, knows about his training, and spoke to me about him. I says, right, okay, sounds good. Spoke to the man himself. He was like more than happy for me to come down and join in. And yeah, that was quite a quick sort of thing that kind of happened. Spoke to my family back home because I do a lot of training with my dad as well. And obviously, I'd come off the Boxing Scotland team earlier on in the year. So yeah, I just thought that's an opportunity for me to sort of, as well as like going to America, to go and like venture something different, put myself out my comfort zone, learn from some different coaches, enjoy different sparring, and get some competitive rounds. And yeah, and I've enjoyed it so far. Even though it's a bit different, like coming away yourself and spending a lot of time on your own when you're not in the gym. However, it's just part of the trade. I've decided to do this, and I fully believe it's a good decision. All the lads at the gym have been really nice to me for day one. They've made me feel welcome, and I've only just been here just under 2 weeks. So, but aye, it's been good. And I want to continue learning. I don't want to have this fixed mindset of a elite amateur. I've had over 100 bouts. I can walk into it. No, I've still got a lot to learn, and I found that out through like even going to the US to do sparring down here. Me and my dad go down to Salford quite a lot as well because he's got family there. We do a lot of sparring down there as well. So yeah, I'd like to continue, picking up and learning different things from different people and put myself out my comfort zone just so I can adapt to like situations, you know, that do come up in the future. And it's all for progression.
Yeah, I think you mentioned earlier in the interview, Stephen, that stepping outside your comfort zone is a good thing, and I feel
It should.
sometimes that like some of the Scottish fighters maybe just do the comfortable thing, which is get sparring partners in Scotland and are maybe not venturing down south or overseas to try and get to learn effectively and to develop in the job.
That's true as well, though. That's true. However, the practicalities of it as well. Sometimes it's not possible for some people to do this, whereas I've been privileged to have the opportunity to do it, and I just thought I need to grab it. I need to grab it because this doesn't happen to many people. And yeah, and it's not about like people, as you say, like some people are comfortable where they are and they choose not to, take opportunities. But my suggestion is when there is opportunities there, like consider them. Don't just jump at everything. Like that would make any logical sense. But just to consider opportunities to try something different, put yourself at your comfort zone, and try and learn from doing different things rather than just the normal. And it also depends how successful you want to be, how much does it mean to you to to progress and do well. And for me, it means a hell of a lot. I know that I'm young, however, I'm no spring chicken, and I've only got a certain amount of years left in boxing, so I want to give it 100%. Well, I've still got the time. So yeah, that's one of my big reasons for doing that.
Great, and so first of all, what weight are you going to be fighting at in the pro game? And second of all, how did the pro debut being on a St Andrews show? How did that all come about?
So just now for this debut, I'm going to be boxing at super welterweight, which is 154 pounds. I think that's just around 11 stone. However, in the future, I might consider dropping down. It just depends how I do this weight, how I perform, how things go. I know it's different, doing day before weigh-ins rather than on the morning weigh-ins consistently when we go tournaments abroad. That's what I've sort of been used to, but now it's different. And I think I do have potential to come down to 147 in the future, but that will be something that we'll address at the time. But first and foremost, I just need to focus on this debut. I'm fighting at 154 pounds. Do that properly, and then cross that bridge when I get to it.
Right. And we've seen recently someone that's been on Sanders shows and who's fighting on the same night, a good friend of yours, Matty McHale, who's doing,
Aye.
has been a standout for me when I've seen him perform. He seems like a
Mm-hmm.
star. How do you think Matty's going to fare in the pro game, and have you been impressed with his performances so far?
I have been, and I had a good feeling that Matty would be a good pro. He's big at the weight, got long limbs. And he's hungry for it as well. You can tell when he's boxing. He wants to. And it's the nature of boxing. You need to want to hurt your opponent. As nasty as that sounds, that's just the way it is. That's just boxing. You can tell he wants to do that. He's spiteful, his punches. And he was always a top amateur as well. He was always there and thereabouts, and he progressed near the end of his amateur career. And brilliant to see him get that bronze medal as well down at Birmingham. And actually, I messaged him the other day. I says, "It's good to be sharing the bill with you in my debut, because we were really good pals on the Scotland setup." And that's something I do miss as well. The social side of that. There's a lot of guys down there who, you don't like see as often, and that is maybe something now that I'm starting to, I didn't appreciate it as much at the time. Not being on that team and being around like who guys who turn into your friends all the time. When you kind of come away from that and you're doing it a bit more isolated, it's a bit harder. Not having the company, because I'm quite sociable, and it is, but it's just a different chapter. I knew it was sort of coming, and I'm willing to do it. But no, I'm happy to sort of come back to Scotland and have my debut in Glasgow. It's the first time I've boxed in Scotland in nearly 5 years now. It's been a while. Obviously, we're getting the chance to compete abroad and stuff for Scotland, and then the pandemic as well affected that. But no, it's nice, and I hope there's a good turnout for me as well. There's a lot of people been on to me for tickets and stuff, but yeah, I know there's 2 weeks to go. So if anybody's needing tickets, please get in touch.
Yeah, and actually, it's going to be my first occasion at a black tie event, so I'm putting a tuxedo on just to watch you box. So when I'm sweating away, interviewing you after it, Stephen, just sure appreciate that.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Everyone will be the same, don't worry.
Aye, it'll be a bit warm in there, I'd imagine. But no, it's a great card to be on as well, and it's great that you're sharing it with Matty as well.
Absolutely.
So just finally, Stephen, just have you got any like short-term or long-term goals? Because you spoke there about, you're 25 now. There's maybe not a lot of years in boxing, and you kind of want to push on. That's the impression I'm getting. So, is there any short and long-term goals from your perspective? Like, where's your head at with that?
When I'm the kind of person who just sort of like deals with the present moment, and like because if I've got a lot on my plate, I don't want to look too far ahead in case I miss what's in front of me. But at the moment, anyway, I'm fully concentrating on boxing. Privileged enough to be able to do that. I've got huge support for that, and I thank everyone who's involved in all that as well. I want to keep busy, in boxing. Hopefully, have something exciting to announce in the next couple of weeks as well after my debut. However, I'll focus on the debut first before that. Yeah, try and get as many. Stay busy. I believe that my managers will do a good job for me. They seem to be, making a lot of contacts and stuff. Making plans for me in the future. And yeah, I'll give boxing a good go for as long as I'm young and healthy enough to do it, and get as much out of it as I possibly can and enjoy it. Because I know, like, it's mad. Maybe even me saying it now. I've not even climbed through the ropes as a pro. I know I've done boxing for years, but I will miss it. I know I'll miss it. I'll miss being an athlete. I'll miss, pushing myself in training, and all the grueling, difficult stuff that people look and go, I wouldn't like that. I'll miss that. I know I'll miss that. That's this part of me, but that will come to an end one day, and I'm aware of that. But obviously, I went to university went through college, university, had the opportunity to actually work with the Elite Boxing Group as a voluntary strength and conditioning coach. Done that from between January till about summertime. That was through university as my placement, and that was a great experience as well. Getting to work with, obviously, it's part of boxing, but it's like specific, specialised strength conditioning. That's what a lot of my studies have focused on throughout my masters and even my honours degree as well. So, yeah, that's a career that I could see myself doing in the future. I'd love to get the opportunity for that. I've managed to bank qualifications to a master's standard. So, that's there for me when, maybe I do decide to hang the gloves up in the future. Yeah, that's a career I can definitely see myself suiting. So, yeah.
No, I think it's what I've seen from Boxing Scotland recently I like, because they seem to be bringing a lot of experience and a lot of ex-pros into the programme effectively in different roles, and I think it's a no-brainer. Maybe, you've got that security when you do hang the gloves up eventually, that hopefully you can help other boxers, even from a strength and conditioning perspective, which is obviously very important as part of the training.
Yep.
Yeah, Stephen, listen, I just want to thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. I think the next time I'll see you is on fight night. So it'd be great to catch up with you after your first fight, and I'm sure you'll put on a great performance.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Great. All right, take care, Stephen. Thanks very much.
Right, you too.